Guys, it's a girl Cindy. Welcome back again to another video. If you are new here, hi, my name is Cindy and thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. Why am I seeing James and Fuhad all over social media, especially on TikTok? I tried to find out what happened and it was a controversial video, that surfaced on TikTok where they were laughing and making jest of black women with Andrew. That video didn't sit well with a lot of people. They are calling them out. As a matter of fact, I tried to find the video, but it's been taken down. They took the video down. Now, because of the backlash that they are receiving, they did an apology video. Basically, they tendered an apology which people are not accepting. It is a fact that they were laughing. This is why black women are always saying that black men don't protect them. I have reacted to videos like this in the past. This is not news. I'm not surprised. Anyways, I have put together a few videos. We are going to see this controversial video and we are also going to see the apology video and some stitches. Please check these videos out.
Black girlfriend effect. This is
You don't know about this?
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like
Yeah.
clean shape up.
Nah,
Yeah,
glows
that,
up,
bro.
Yeah,
I like that.
I
Glows the
like
fuck
that.
up.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends,
They grow
step,
a beard
they step the
because
dick
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of.
Why are we laughing this hard? What he said wasn't even funny. I can't even say that it wasn't that funny because what he said was not funny at all. That mouth is wide open. Wasn't shit funny. This man literally just sat in y'all's faces and said that black women are practically abusive. And that's why white men have beards, because it's more cushion for when black women slap them. And then said that black women are basically so problematic in relationships that the stress of them being somebody else's partner causes these white men to lose their hair. To allow that man to feel so comfortable to come on y'all's platform to talk about women within y'all's race. I know the lighter skinned guy is mixed, but when we look at him, that's a black man. You know what I'm saying? He's black. It is what it is. So my thing is, y'all are allowing a man to talk about women in your race this way. Honestly, it makes people believe that y'all share that same mindset. You're laughing because it's relatable and you can understand where he's coming from. Like, even if y'all were trying to fake laugh to not like start any commotion on the show, that was a hard ass fake laugh. No, it genuinely seemed like y'all thought that shit was comical. Having a get comfortable enough to be able to say something like that means that y'all will probably let some other stuff slide on y'all's platform, whether y'all say it or somebody else comes up there and says something negative about black women, and that's weird.
So that was a clip of that video. Like I said, I could not find the original video because they have taken the video down. Now I'm going to show you the apology video they did that people are not accepting. Please check it out.
A quick acknowledgement. So if you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And yeah, there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women. And in the clip, Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Making a frankly racist joke. And we were laughing at it. And to give, there's first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like it is, yeah. Fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in those situations, you look at it through a lens of like, bro, if it was me, I promise you I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down, I would smack homeboy in the face, I would say this, I'll do that. But when you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move on.
Yeah, bro, move on is the fucking word, bro. All you want to do is fucking move on. Just move on to the next thing. Just move on to the next thing.
There's
and
so
like
many
we had
times.
to say a few times, bro, just move on.
Just move
on.
So many different topics. We were like, move on.
Yeah.
And it's not even like about pity laughs or anything, but we just wanted to
get out of that situation.
Literally get out of that situation, keep the ball rolling. And we thought it was going to be more of like a a bros
Yeah,
chat, but
just
it ended up
yeah.
being something that's
ended
not
up
meant to
being
be.
something that's like really, really hurt people that
Yeah.
look to us for support and look to us to feel protected. And protected is the main thing
Yeah.
that I wanted to discuss, is that it is our duty to protect you guys.
Facts.
And it is definitely not cool to be in that situation. And again, not be the ones to stand up and kick the cameras down. And we fucked it on that occasion.
We did.
It's not going to happen again. And it's about being human. It's about realizing that you don't know what you're prepared for. You don't know how to prepare for something
you don't know
that you don't
about.
know what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
And once it's happened one time, you're like, fuck, all right.
You learn from your mistakes, and that's literally
That's
you
literally it, bro.
learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, we
man.
fucked it, and we're sorry.
We
and
definitely do apologize.
it's, for me, like, it's one of them ones where you don't realize that, like, for one, when you're part of a community, you don't realize that you can hurt your own community.
Especially so
when
bad.
you're not, when unintentionally.
Unintentionally, for real.
And
yeah.
also on top of that, it was so crazy that, like, the narrative that's been spun about how we feel about our community, the irony of the fact that whilst the whole reason we're in that country was to just show how much we love our community
Yeah.
and show how much we love our supporters and how much
Yeah.
time we spent at the shows and just like getting to know people and just like understanding our community better and just like making friends and making bonds and showing love, and they're showing love. And this whole 6-week trip was just about showing how much we love our community and how much
building
our community
bonds
show
with them,
out for us. And then to have that exact same trip be the reason that we're having to have this conversation now. But at the end of the day, mistakes make you a better person.
Mistakes do make
you're
you a
not
better
born
person.
you're not born a perfect person. And yeah, we don't condone, we don't appease that behavior, we don't rate it. And we don't want you guys to think that we were sat in that room rating what's going on.
We hold our hands up. We apologize. You learn from your mistakes, and we hope we don't let our community down again, because ultimately we do this for you guys. Like,
Yeah,
at the
you
end
guys
of the
are
day,
all we have, man.
You guys are literally all we have. You guys have taken us to this level, and we don't want to let you guys down going forward and anymore. So
A lot of people are making videos about these controversial videos of James and Fuhad. I have put together a few videos. Let's just hear from them, especially from Black people. And I'm going to show you some screenshots of comments. Let's check the cities out.
Fuhad and James, what the fuck? We were rooting for you. Literally rooting for you. And this is what you do to us? You have literally proven that any man with a mic and a podcast is problematic. We were rooting for you, okay? First black male podcast not to be problematic. And this is just, you pull? And that apology video. What was that? Be so for real. Fight or flight? Let me explain something to y'all. When you are in a position of power and privilege, they are in a position of power and privilege because they are black men. And the joke was about black women. It is your job, your duty, your obligation to fight, to speak out, okay? Not to freeze, laugh, and try to get someone to move on. Wrong answer. We can't have nothing around here. Nothing, okay? And I'm so mad about it. And it's like, do better. Stop making us look, do better. Fight, not flight.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, I just think that James and Fahad don't like or rate black women. That's just the bottom line of it, because we can do these think pieces, we can evaluate their body language, this and this, but I just don't think they like black women. I used to watch them back in the day when they were like 30, 40k subs deep on YouTube, but because they were actually funny guys, but I don't know, I just kind of fell off them because they just grew unlikable to me. But yeah, they just don't like black women, and that's all it is. That's why they can comfortably sit in a room. I mean, they did say they were uncomfortable. I don't really know what the whole situation is, but I just always got the vibe that they don't really like or rate us. So that's just that.
I actually have a take on the whole Fuhad and James situation that I wanted to share, which I think is a little bit deeper than what has been happening online since. as a Caribbean girl who's grown up in St. Lucia and then moved my whole big ass over to the UK, I've had a lot of instances with Black British men that I want to share. First of all, it was really difficult for me to integrate within the Black culture in Britain. I felt I had more connection with other cultures. But again, it's understandable because people probably had their cliques and everything. And I came in, I was 16, so I wasn't really that I wasn't someone that's integrated well into the culture of Black Britishness. I was a Caribbean girl. So even if I was Black, my experience as being a Black person is completely different. But over the years, I've come to understand something really, really interesting about Black men and Black girls or Black women here in the UK. And it is that Black men here do not like Black women. Now, let me say this really, really distinctly, and this is my opinion, and this is my perspective and my experience. Luckily for me, when I went to university, I was able to integrate myself within the Caribbean space. So there were other people that went to university with me who are from the Caribbean, and so I was able to find other Caribbean people that I could hang out with. And also I was in a relationship, so there was no need for me to have to, go and look for a partner or anything. It wasn't an issue for me. But I would say this, and I'll say this really, really frankly. I was never someone that Black British men would find attractive. I wasn't fair enough. I wasn't exotic enough. If I were to be walking down the street with a fair girl or a mixed race girl or maybe a white girl and there were Black guys walking, they would always go and talk to them. Now, I've experienced colorism in my own country. That is something that actually happens within the Caribbean. I've been told already that, I've been told when I was younger, I would look so much better if I was fair-skinned, that I would be prettier if I was fair-skinned, and I would never forget that. So for most of my life, I always felt that I wasn't as attractive because of the color of my skin. I actually used to think that if I was fairer, that I would be more attractive to Black men. And the thing about it is I've never been with any other race. I've only ever been with Black men, Black Caribbean men. And I know for a fact that I'm back in the UK now, me living in the UK, I would have never really been approached by Black British men. It is, without a doubt, in the back of my mind, subconsciously, I know that I'm not attractive enough for these men or I'm not their preference. They constantly say it. They make it known all the freaking time. So when Fuhad and James were on my timeline, my For You page, and I saw their stuff, I thought it was really funny. But in the back of my head, and they're not the only creators that I know that for instance, that they just would never look at me or respect me. In the back of my head, I just knew that these are not people that would ever be on my side. Unfortunately, I just know that I'm not a person that these men would respect or would find attractive or hold me to a certain type of respect, basically. I don't know how else to say this, but it is a very deep thing. I am coming from outside of this space, so I could only imagine what people within the space must be feeling. But somebody coming from outside the space and coming in at an age when I was 16 and seeing what it was like, it was really difficult. And I used to think, okay, what is the issue? I can walk down the street right now. Okay, I can go to any part in London and I will see a Black man and I will see a white woman with him. And I have seen it more than I have seen a Black couple. When I see a Black couple, I'm excited. I'm excited. I used to be upset, and I'll be honest, I used to be really upset that I would see a Black woman, a white woman and a Black man. I used to be upset. Now it doesn't bother me anymore because I know my place. I've come to the conclusion that, listen, if I'm not for these guys, that is my preference. I prefer to be with a Black person. If I'm not for them, then there's no need for me. Like, what does it matter, right? So I just don't care anymore. But when I saw them on my page, I already have a reservation inside me that says, these people don't respect me, or these people will never love me. And it's a really hard thing to explain. I don't know if anybody else has gone through it, but if you have, please comment and tell me what your experience is like. For those Black women who are from the UK, they probably understand. I don't know who y'all date. I just don't get it, because I know for sure I am not the type. I'm not the type. I'm not the preference. So hey, I'm invisible to everybody. At least I know what it is. But at least in the Caribbean, I know I can get a man in the Caribbean. But here in the UK, I don't even question it. So it's something I know within me. When I see Black British men, it hurts, but I know for sure I will never be a preference for those men, ever.
I used to watch, James and Fahad's content, and I never expected them to trend, how they're currently trending, for pretty much a very interesting reason. If you've not seen it, it's a segment of them having other two men in their podcast where obviously they created a safe space where these two other men who happen to not be Black were speaking down and perpetuating stereotypes towards Black women, saying that they're aggressive, they're temperamented, they might slap you, and so many things that again is associated, with again a stereotypes that you would think that a podcast that has two, men of color would actually use that situation to correct these two men that was making these claims. But no, they participated and enabled and continued this conversation and allowing those two men to get away with what they said, because again, they never cared. Which I'm so confused, because these are the same men that will say that they love Black women, they respect Black women, but then will allow other people to speak down towards Black women and not say anything about it. It's just very disappointing, but I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that James and Fuhad are in the firing line right now, but I am surprised it's taken this long, because they have been problematic. And not to downplay how fucking horrific it is that they just sat and laughed along while a white man insulted Black women in front of them, but that's the tip of the iceberg of the problematic things that they've said and done. They both, and James in particular, have said specifically about Black women, horrible, racist, perpetuating stereotypes type shit. And then they always say oh, it's going to sound like I hate Black women, but I kind of do have a problem with them because they bullied me in high school. And then they'll just use that as a cover to say really horrible things. They joke about hurting women a lot. They've said with their own lips, I would smack her, I would punch her in the face, I couldn't hear that, I'd hit her. Fuhad also shares the story about how he went to a club and there was this hot woman there, and he went over and grabbed her ass, he just groped her in the club, and then her boyfriend started to fight with him and he ran off, and his friends had to fight this guy. And they openly talk about how much they cheat. They just make jokes continuously about how they have cheated and do cheat and all men cheat. But then they'll slut shame women for having condoms in their bedroom. And I get it, it's called Shits and Gigs, it's supposed to be banter, but all their banter is just toxic. That's why whenever they're sitting in the presence of a white guy being openly racist and misogynistic, they just laugh. Because they don't take anything seriously. They're laughing about the shit that you're kind of not supposed to laugh about. And then it kind of gives other men free rein to just be racist or misogynistic. But they take shit serious if it could potentially impact them. If it's a story about a woman having done something, they're and then they'll either threaten violence or slut shame them. I don't know, I just think they're gross.
Why exactly are we listening to British Chippendale? Are we not surprised? Are we not surprised, especially him coming from a racist Nintendo character? You look off. You look like the first draft of Mario. I hate to see it. Either that or you were typecast as a racist cop in the 1970s. 1970. Your mustache looks fake, but it smells like cat piss, and it's a muffler. You can say as many slurs as you want. Guess what?
Nobody gonna hear it behind that jungle.
No, that looked like Fluffy's left lip. You just stuck it on the face. They said Atlanta didn't have any baddies, and I knew the opinion was invalid. We know you like the snow. Winter is your favorite season. I don't have to guess that. Bruv. Don't ever say that shit out again. Make sure your ass do not land at Hartsfield, even for a layover. You just lost the plethora of bitches that you could have had. You couldn't. I don't think many women want to get in a tree and talk to talking twins, but
Yes, I have just seen the apology video actually. I was wrong. They apologized and quicker than I thought they would. Whenever an apology is issued like this on the back of backlash, you're always going to be wondering whether or not it's really genuine, because are you apologizing because you're truly sorry and regret your actions, or are you just apologizing because you have to? But I'm not going to lie, I had a little think after I made my last video, and some of the jokes that Andrew Schulz was making on that episode came back to me, because I mentioned that I watched a good amount of that episode before all of this even happened. And Andrew Schulz was making many racist, offensive jokes. Like, you guys think that clip was bad? He made so many jokes that were just disgusting, to be honest. Like, the things that he was saying about Nigerians, it was actually crazy. And at one point, Fuhad actually looked angry, like he looked really irritated because these jokes were really offensive. So now I'm remembering that and I'm seeing this apology. When they came to the part where they said that they were uncomfortable and they kind of just wanted to say or do anything to move on to the next point or the next topic and just kind of keep it moving, I actually do believe them, because I promise you, if you were to see that whole, and I haven't even seen the whole episode, just the portion that I saw, there's no way that you could be in a conversation like that and not feel uncomfortable and not feel like, let's just kind of get this over and done with. But ultimately, it still doesn't really change anything. They were still wrong for how they reacted in that moment, because like I said in my original video, it's just funny how when he made so many of the other horrible jokes, they were completely comfortable to not laugh and to not entertain it and to just kind of be stoic and move on to the next point. But when it came to a joke that was at our expense, they felt very comfortable just to laugh it off, whether it was fake or real laughter. It didn't even look like fake laughter, to be honest. It's just a shame how there seems to be no issue with us being the butt of the joke until it was too late, but it is what it is. What I will say, bearing in mind what I've seen of the episode, I do think that it was a bad move for them to even go on Andrew Schulz's podcast. I'm sure their team thought it would be a good look, Andrew Schulz and Akash having such a big following and being successful comedians. But I'm assuming if you look at their past episodes, you will see material just like this. And if they did, then they should kind of have foreseen that this was inevitable. This was going to happen. Because unless you're already used to having to navigate your way through offensive conversations with people, it's kind of next to impossible to have a back and forth with someone in this type of conversation and come out looking good. And that's not to give them an excuse, because they were still wrong, point blank period, but looking at the whole situation, it was just a bad idea to go on that podcast from the beginning.
This whole James and Fuhad situation proves that some men can only be tough guys when they're opposing women. But when it's another man, now they're talking about fight or flight. When they're in an interview with a man who is bashing women that look like them, they can't even stand up for the women that look like their audience. When they're on tour and they see their fans face to face, they know exactly who's supporting them. They know exactly who's tuning into their podcast. They know exactly who's buying their merch. But they couldn't wait to throw us under the bus, all because they didn't want to say anything controversial. Andrew Schulz has always been deplorable, but let me show you how it's done. This is what it's like when you're in the face of a man who is bashing women, you call him out on it.
I mean, you gonna let them hate on the sisters like this? What's up? Like you gonna let them hate on the sisters? Like he's married to a sister.
As you see from this clip, it's not Andrew's first time trying to sneak diss black women. But as you see, he can and should be called out for it every single time. Because some men are tough enough to stand up for what they believe in. You two literally built your brand off of the backs of black women. But once you got to a certain level of success, once you felt like you were going mainstream, you couldn't wait to throw them under the bus. He played y'all like the puppet master. Within seconds, he had y'all dissing your entire audience. And y'all too busy giggling to notice.
So I took some screenshots of comments randomly so you guys can see what other people said about the video. Please pause to read if you want to. Now, I saw a video. This creator was saying that James and Fuhad, they've literally deleted a lot of videos on their channel.
Quick update on the Shits and Gigs situation. They have now deleted over 100 videos from YouTube. I think some of their first videos they did where I'm guessing they had even less of a filter and might have said some really controversial things. I can see some clips are kind of getting circulated as well. One where James is making, again, some really outrageous comments, no matter if they're true or not or whatever, or meant to be a joke. And honestly, I really do feel like this might be their downfall.
Now, this shouldn't have happened. It is the fact that they were laughing out so loud, and I mean, that was not funny. Anyways, you guys, I thought I should bring these videos here. Let me know what you all think in the comment, what you have to say. Let me know in the comments. And thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share, comment, and of course, come back for another video. I'm going to see you all in my next one. Y'all stay blessed. Bye.